Alright, so here are some examples. These are going to be available. I'm going to try and link these to a Google Drive folder that I've made that everyone can go and hopefully check out and download these if you'd like to, or at least just look at them. Of course, you'll have this video to check out as well. And in this is just probably about 8 or so student examples to give you a decent idea of how these things are built. Now, I'm going to be talking about the actual ways we're going to do this once we get into the next video. But for the time being, I just want you to see what you can do with some of this stuff. Now, again, like I always say, these are all students. These are all non-arts majors, I think for the most part, if not all of them. So don't be too worried about quality and what you'll be capable of. The big difference in all of these is showing the difference between what essentially is blob brush shapes, like you see here, and brush strokes, like you'll see generally the difference between hair and the face are the two big obvious ones. So obviously these shapes here are more, these are the blob brush shapes. They look more like blobs, obviously. And then the things of this nature that have an interesting brush texture to them, these are brush styles. This is what we're going to learn right up here for the paintbrush tool. That is generally always going to be paintbrush related. So you can look through these and see some of them really nice. This one's a great use of the paintbrush for the hair. These are all just, get my layers here. Unlock these layers. These are all individual brush strokes with like the scroll pen. It's hard to see that one, but there you go. And just kind of layering on top of each other darks and lights and midtones to get all that. And then of course in the face, again, large blob brush shapes. So you can see how this is built. Just individual shapes, one on top of another. And of course, she's creating these just like you have with your Calligram and just like you have with your Yoshis and your Mega Mans and whatever else you created, by going in and sort of isolating different little small patches of color, creating the shape, and then eyedropping that exact color. And then you can build up your entire face using that same method. So some of these are a little more angular. You can see that these are actually just single lines that have fills on them that create these sort of moon shape kind of more angular fills. This is one I always show because it's a good example of, this is what it looks like with the actual photo. The photo turned on, right? Looks pretty good, really solid. But then when you turn the photo off, you can see that all of the white areas here are actually the areas that she didn't really realize were only there because the photo was showing. So this is a good time to remind you all to turn your photo off every now and then just to see what it looks like, because if you have all these white patches, you're going to need to fill those in with other shapes, and you know, whether it's blob brush or paintbrush or whatever else you want to create your shapes with, you need to fill in these areas really solid, more like this bottom half of the portrait here. Nice little creative use of the scroll pen brushes for the hair. You can see it's a little more abstract, a little more kind of flowy and stylized. That's okay for sure. Whatever you like to do. You also don't have to stick with the localized color of, you know, exactly what your face looks like. If you want to go black and white, you can. If you want to go pink and purple and, you know, whatever, it's up to you. Generally, people, like the last assignment, stick with local color because they can use the eyedropper and it's a little bit more simplistic, but you do not have to do that if you don't want to. Alright, so in our next video, we're going to learn about the two tools, the two main tools, the paintbrush and the blob brush, and then that will allow you to get started.